In this video, you will be learning how to work out the highest common factor, an alternative method working out the highest common factor of large numbers. To find the highest common factor of large numbers, it's preferable to use the product of the prime numbers. Now, this will involve the splitting of the numbers in the factor tree to get the product of the prime numbers. So, to start up on this, we're going to look out for the first example. In the first example here, we are asked to work out find the highest common factor of 450 and 240. Now, if you look at these numbers, you immediately notice that these numbers are very large numbers, and so we're going to use the product of prime. So to begin first, I'm going to write down 450 and 240 separately to split them up. So I pick up the first 50. So I begin here, write down 450. Now I'm going to split this up now. If I split this up, I will have 45 and 10. Now these two numbers will multiply themselves to give 450. Now you might be thinking, but these are not the only numbers that can multiply to give 450. Yes, you're right. But I like to make my work a lot easier by choosing these two numbers. Someone else can choose another number, but I like to use these two numbers. Good. Now, if you look at 45 and 10, these two numbers are not prime numbers, so that means I'm going to split them up again. But first with 45. Now, if I split 45 this way, I can have 9 and 5. Now, 9 and 5 multiply to give me 45. Now, if you look at this number 5, 5 here is a prime number, so I'm going to put it in a cycle. But 9 is not a prime number, so I'm going to split this up once more. So if I split 9, I'm going to have 3 and 3. Now, if you look at these two numbers, you really notice that 3 is a prime number. So you put a prime number in a cycle, and this is the prime number. Good. Now over to 10. Remember we said we're going to split 10 up, right? So if I split 10 up, I'll have 5 and 2. Now you immediately will notice that 5 and 2, both numbers are prime numbers, so you put them in the cycle, 2 in a cycle and 5 in a cycle. Now there is no other number left that needs to be split up, so I'm going to write down 450 to be a product of their prime numbers. So if I write down 450 here to be a product of the prime numbers. Now writing the prime numbers, I like to begin first with the smaller numbers, so I begin with 2 multiply by 3 multiply by 3 multiply by 5 and multiply by 5. So I have written 450 as a product of the prime factors. Next, I'm going to the next number 240 and do the same by splitting them up. So I'm going to take the space here, 240. So I'm going to split this up once more. Now, two numbers that multiply to give me 240. For me, I like to take 24 and 10. Now remember, you can use any two numbers that multiply to give 240, but I like to use these two numbers because it makes my work a lot easier. Now I'm going to split 24 again because 24 and 10 are not prime numbers, so I'm going to split them each, but first with 24. Now if I split 24, I will have 8 and 3. Now 3 is a prime number, so I'm going to put it in a cycle, but 8 is not a prime number, so I'm going to split it one more time. So if I split this up, I'll have 2 and 3. Now you can see that 2 is a prime number and 3 is a prime number, so you put them in a cycle. You can see that in a cycle. Now over to 10, because we haven't really split up 10, so let's see how we can split up 10. If I split up 10 here, I'm going to have 5 and 2. Now if you look at this very carefully, these two numbers 5 and 2 both are prime numbers, so I'm going to put them in a cycle. Now there's no more any number that needs to be split up. So I'm going to write down 240 here to be a product of the prime numbers. Now remember, in writing the product of the prime numbers, I have to begin with smallest number and work up to the biggest. Now the smallest prime here is 2, so I have 2 multiplied by another 2 here. I'll multiply by 3, multiply by another 3, and multiply by 5. Now what we have here are the product of the prime of both for numbers 450 and 240. Now to find the highest common factor, all you need to look at is go back to the list of the product prime and try to spot out the numbers or the factors that are common on the top list and on the bottom list. Now you have to be very careful on this. So I can readily see I have 2 up here, 2 down here, so I'm going to put it in a kind of a cycle. This makes it a lot easier. And I have a 3 here up, I think it's a 3 down, so I have a 3 and 3 common, so I'm going to take that up. Do I have a 3 here? Yeah, a 3 down. Yes, I have, so I'm going to take that also. Now I'd like to make it my work a lot easier. Then I have a 5 and a 5 here. Let me take this 5 and 5 because it's the same, so I'll take on 5 here. Now there's no other known factor that is common to top and bottom, so what I'm going to write here to write the product of these single pairs, so that'll be 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. Now if I work this out, this will give me the HCF, and that will be 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 times 3 is 18, and 18 times 5, I think this will give me 90. So my highest common factor is 90. Did you understand it? I hope you do. Now in case you don't understand it, we're going to look up the next example. Now this is a second example. Now we have the same question on highest common factor, but we have a different number on it. The question says find the highest common factor of 500 and 240. Now we're going to start out first by splitting up 500 and then 240, but first the first number 500. So I'll begin first by splitting up 500. Now if I split 500, now I can immediately see I can use 105. Now remember, this is not the only two numbers that multiply to give you 500. You can use any other number like 250 and 2 to get 500. But I choose to use 105 because this will make my work a lot easier. Now I can look at 5 here. Like I said, the 5 is a prime number, so I'm going to put in a cycle. Now move to 100. Now 100 is not a prime number, so I will have to split this up one more again. Now if I split 100, I can have 20 and 5. 20 and 5. Now 5 is a prime number, so I'm going to put that in the cycle. But 20 isn't a prime number, so I'm going to split this up one more time. So if I split 20, I'll have 10 and 2. 10 and 2. Now you can see that 2 here is a prime number, so you put this in the cycle. But 10 is not a prime number. So I'm going to split this one more time. If I split this up one more time, I'm going to have 5 and 2. Now you can immediately spot on that 2 is a prime number, so you put it in a second, and also 5 is also a prime number, so you put this in a prime number in a cycle. Now there is no other number to split up, so I'm going to write down 500 to be a product of the prime numbers. Now I'm going to start from the smallest prime number, which is 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. So I'm going to write it here. So 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. Yeah. So I'm done with 500, writing it in the product of the prime. Now my next goal is to go to 240 and do the same split up. So I can start off here, 240, and split this right up here. If I split this up, I'll have 24 and 10. 24 and 10. And neither of these two products is a prime number, so I'm going to split them each up. So first, let me split up 2 and 4. I'll have 8 and 3. I can see that 3 is a prime number, so I'm going to put it in a cycle. But 8 is not a prime number, so I'm going to split this up one more time. I can have 4 and 2. 4 and 2. Now 2 is a prime number, so I put it in the next cycle. But 4 is not a prime number, so I'll split up again. I have 2 and 2. Now you can see that 2 and 2 are both prime numbers, so you put it in a cycle. Now there's a number up here, I think 10 here, that hasn't been split up yet, so I'm going to have this split up now. Now I can have to split up 10, I can have 5 and 2. Now I can immediately see that both numbers are prime, so I'm going to put them in a cycle, the prime numbers in a cycle. And so I'm going to write down 240 here as a product of their prime numbers. Now remember, I have to start off with smaller numbers, so I'm going to have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 and times 5. So I have both numbers 500 and 240 written as a product of the prime. Now to find the highest common factor, I have to look out for the factors common on the top list and the top list and the bottom list. And then I have 2 up here, I have 2 down, so I can have 2 and 2. So I write down 2 here. And I have another 2 and 2 up here, so I'm going to put that in the cycle. Careful to write that well. And what else is common? Well, I have 5 and 5. Okay, I can take output it 5 and 5. Let me connect it with the straight line. You can see that. So, and if you look at, is there any other number on the top, on the bottom? There is no other number, so I have 2 times 2 times 5. Now if I multiply this, I'm going to have my highest common factor. So 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 5 is 20. So my highest common factor is 20. Now I'm thinking you're getting to understanding the little better, right? Now I'm going to, in the next example, we're going to see much larger numbers to work at the highest common factor. And I hope by the time we look at it, you will have a far better understanding. Now we have the third example. In this example, we ask to find the highest common factor of 2,520 and 924. Now I'm going to start out on this number, to split this number, 2520. So I'm going to start up here, 2520. So I'm going to split this up. This is really a big number. So if I split 2520, first I can begin with 252 and 10. Because if you multiply these two numbers, you're going to have the top number here. Now, neither of these two numbers here is a prime number, so I'm going to have them split it up. But first, with this number on the left here, so I'm going to split 252. If I split that, I'm going to have 9 and 8. Or 28, sorry, not 8. Because multiply 9 and 28, you have 252. Again, if you look at these two numbers, neither of them is a prime number, so I'm going to have them split up. But first, let me split up 9. If it has 9 here, it's going to be 3 and 3. Now you can see that both numbers here are prime numbers, so I'm going to put them in a cycle. Then 28, I can split this up. I can have 7 and 4. 7 and 4. Now I can see that 7 is a prime number, so I'm going to have it put in a cycle. But 4 is not a prime number, so I can split this up one more time. I'm gonna have 2 and 2. Now until output prime numbers, I'll put them in a cycle. Now moving over to 10 here. 10 is not a prime number, so we still have to split it up. If I split this up, I'll have 2 and 5. Now both numbers are prime, so I'm going to put them in a cycle. Now there is no other number left to be split up, so I'm going to write 2520 in the product of the prime. So I'm going to start off here with 2520. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5 times 7. So let's go. 2 times 2 times 2 here, times 3 times 3 here, times 5, and times 7. Good. Alright, so that's for 2520. So I move to the next number, 924, and I'm going to have this 924, I'm going to have it split it up. Now to split this up, I can quickly see it. I can use 6 and 154. Yep. Now neither of these two numbers is a prime number, so I can have them split up. I can have 6 split up this way, and I'll have 2 and 3. Now both numbers 2 and 3 are both prime, so I'm going to put them in a cycle this way. And I move on to 154. I can have this split up. Can split it up this way, and I have 2 and 77, because both numbers multiplies to give you 154. Now if you look at these numbers, you can see that 2 is a prime number, so you can put it in a cycle. Now 77 is not a prime, so I will have to split this up one more time if that can be possible. Yeah, it's possible. So if I split this up, we have 7 and 11. Now if you look at these two numbers, now you really notice that both numbers are prime numbers, so you put them in a cycle. Now there's no more other number left to split up, so I'm going to write 924 as a product of their prime. So I come down here, I'm going to write 924 as a product of their prime. Now remember, you write them from the smallest to the big. So the first is 2 times 2 times 3 times 7 times 11. So it becomes 2 times 2 times 3 times 7 and times 11. So the job is almost done. So what we need to get now is to get the highest common factor. Now to get the highest common factor, I have to look at the list on the top and the bottom and look out for the factors that are common. And you can immediately see you have a 2 up or you have a 2 down, so you're going to pick it up. Okay, good. Then we have a 2 up here, that's a 2 bottom here, so I'm going to take that also. 2 and 2. Next we have a 2 here, but there's no 2 on the bottom, so we'll skip 2, go to 3. We have a 3 here and it's a 3 down, so we have something common, so I'm going to take it. 3 and 3. And look up here, 3, there's no 3 down here, there's a 5 up, no 5 down, there's a 7 up, but there's no 7 down, so nothing else common. So the common factors, oh, there's a 7 here. Okay, good, so I have a 7 here. I almost skip that out, so 7 and 7. So we have a pairs of 2, 2, 3, and 7, so the highest common factor becomes 2 times 2 times 3 times 7. Now if you multiply this, you're going to have 84. So this is the highest common factor. Now the highest common factor really means the biggest number that will go into 2520 and 924 with a remainder, and that's going to be 84. I hope you enjoyed this video.